Hello, my beautiful souls. Welcome to the intuitive card reading for the first full week of September. That would be September 1st through September 7th. If you guys haven't checked out the monthly reading, please go ahead and do that. It's been published. So please go ahead and see and check out that video. Please like this video. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Please share this video with anybody that needs to hear the energies and influences of the week. Comments down below. I always love to hear how things resonate for you, how they manifest in your life specifically. This is a reading for the collective, right? So it's kind of like a sometimes can be pretty broad, the messages coming through. So always love to hear how they resonate with you. And I think that's it. I'm using 3 same decks you guys are familiar with, shuffled and ready to go. So let's just jump right into it, guys. What do we need this week? Elder, move beyond ancestral patterns. Okay, so what we need to do is move beyond generational trauma, move beyond, or even just focus on to move on from maybe some ancestral healing, something that's been passed down, something about our ancestry. So this could actually even be maybe not even necessarily trauma. This could be about, guys, sorry, I forgot to mention, I also got bit by a cat, so that's the mark on my arm, on my finger here. So just realized it's going to be on camera, so don't be alarmed. It's I'm on antibiotics, so. Anyway, this could be something like looking into your heritage, looking into your ethnicity, looking into where you came from, looking into your ancestry of some kind, or, you know, looking into your parents' history or background or something like that. So there's something here, like Spirit keeps showing me like a family tree of some kind. So there's like something to do with that. If you've been feeling, you know, this could be like as simple as like you've been feeling like, oh, maybe I should like dig into my family history a little bit more. Maybe you're going through something medically and you medically need to figure out, you know, is what runs in your family, you know, that kind of thing. So there's something kind of here where it's saying like go back to the past in the way of like doing more research, but also could be healing things that have come up through your family lineage or something along those lines. So that's a big, powerful energy that kind of is coming through very, very swiftly. First one out of the bat. So wonder if we'll get any more clarity as we go on. But yeah, very, very big, powerful stuff there. All right, action needed. We have to be fair. Okay, to be fair is like the judgment card. It's asking us to have balance, to have fairness, to be neutral, so that kind of thing. So it's under action needed, so we actually have to put this into action. So this is just talking about, you know, we're using the archetype deck. It's like, it's very similar to the energy of the mediator card, right? Where it's kind of like, you have to be the mediator, you have to be the one in the middle, you have to kind of see the middle ground, you have to see both perspectives in this particular thing. So like I kind of like Spirit is like showing me like an umpire, you know, like during a game, you know, they call the shots, but they have to be fair. They're impartial. They're bipartisan, right? All of those different words that kind of mean like not going, you know, not swaying to one side or the other. So we need to be doing that. So you could be needing to, again, look at things objectively, look at things unbiasedly this week. So we need to take action on that and make sure that we're actually doing that. Issue. What do we have issues with? We have companion in the shadow. I believe we got the companion for the September monthly. My memory is not great. I don't remember. We actually got it in light. Now we have it in the shadow. It says betrayal by misusing confidences, loss of personal identity. Okay, so we're having issues with this archetype this week at least. So maybe we need companionship, but maybe we are not being a good companion. Okay, I think that's what this is saying. This is basically saying like I'm getting the feeling like we're not in order to have a good friend, you need to be a good friend. That's kind of like the energy. This could also mean that we're doing it too much. Like it could also mean like veering into codependency, right? Where it's like or enmeshment, like we are losing ourselves by putting so much energy and putting so much time into the companion. So, you know, it might just be like we use it as like a distraction. I think I may have used like the example of like even like a pet. So you might be just like focusing too much on your pet and not necessarily taking care of yourself. It's different if they're sick or, they have like a medical emergency or something like that, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like maybe like more like you're trying to distract yourself with friends, and you're putting, all of the emphasis on the other person. Again, could be the other thing that I was talking about not necessarily being a good friend. So you might have an issue with being a good friend, or maybe that comes to light this month, that maybe like, how could you be a better friend? Maybe you do need to make more sacrifices. I've been seeing this thing all over TikTok lately. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but this idea of individualism versus being in a community, and the price to that is inconvenience. And yes, you can still be an individual, but it's like if you expect all your friendships to be convenient, then that's not really how friendship works. Like sometimes things are, you have to do something inconvenient. If somebody's car breaks down in the middle of the night and you have a big day the next day, but you drive out to the middle of nowhere and pick up their friend, because you know that they would do it for you, like that kind of thing. So this might be referencing that for sure, but listen, take what resonates and leave the rest. But it definitely might have something to do with that, right? For sure. And also what I talked about maybe like pouring too much into the companion. So enmeshment, codependency, that kind of thing. So a lot of big messages coming through from one card, right? All right, what do we have challenges with? Moon, take note of intuitive messages. All right, we have challenges listening to our intuition. That makes me sad. Makes me really sad. We all do it. We all experience it. We're not sure if we can trust our gut. Definitely feels challenging this week for whatever reason. Could be we're too in our heads. Could be that our judgment is clouded in some way, shape, or form. But I definitely do feel us having issues listening to that, and do the best you can. As I continue to get better, seriously, the first thing I'm going to do is going to put my course up on a platform. I have an intuition course that needs to be available to everybody because in my opinion, it's really great, and it could really be helpful. I've gotten feedback that it's been really helpful, so I'm going to publish it and hopefully put it down below, in the coming months. Fingers crossed. But listening to intuition, it can be hard. It definitely can be hard. And like I said, we're definitely struggling this week for sure. All right, what do we need to change? Orphaned. Okay, so we need to change what is changing, rather I should say. So this is really good. I think we actually had this a couple of weeks back. Gosh, I can't trust my memory, but so basically that's changing. So the depressive feelings, the feelings like we're alone, that nobody understands us, maybe we can tie it back to what I was saying under the companion about like individualism, like being on our own, having to do everything by ourselves, like that kind of thing. So yeah, like this feeling of like, again, like that. And guys, there's a 5 on that card. Hello, 5 is change, so double change. So it definitely does feel big. So yeah, it definitely does feel like the end of being alone is happening in some way, shape, or form. So maybe we do find that community. Maybe we do learn how to be that really good friend, and we make a friend and we're not as lonely anymore, or again, a community of some kind. Maybe we accept, which is something I need to do, is to accept that not everyone's going to understand you. That doesn't make them bad people. That doesn't make them not able to support you in other ways. Things like that. So something's changing, and it feels really good, even though that's like a darkish kind of card. Also, too, I'm not a mental health professional, but this does, like I mentioned a couple of times, this could mean depression. We could be coming out of like a depressive episode or something, etc. So, I love that. I mean, it's nothing but positive in my opinion. I do want to add that it feels like it's like a little slow. Okay. So, I don't think you can, it's something like you go to bed one night, one way, and then wake up like the next day, another way. It's not necessarily like that. Some things are quick, some things are not. And I feel like this isn't exactly, like maybe you've been putting like everything, like you could have been like working behind the scenes, maybe, going back to what I was saying about the depression thing. Maybe you've been working with a mental health therapist for a long, 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 long time, and it's starting to finally lift. Maybe it's something like that, like you've put work into it before, kind of thing. So I love that. Either way, I mean, like I said, I just love it. That's like a big change, and it's the second time we've seen it in maybe a month's time. So that means it's really happening. Definitely validation right there. All right, focus. We have Virgin and Shadow, fear of intimate union. Okay, so this is a fear of, how do I say this, guys? Some of these archetype cards always got my tongue tied, but afraid of doing something for the first time, afraid to be a beginner, afraid to do something that's unknown, afraid to step out of your comfort zone, different things. So it's saying focus on that. It says focus on being the beginner. It's okay to be the beginner. Focus on why you're afraid that you might be doing that. So this could actually mean, isn't this beautiful? This is pyrite. This could mean like you could be coming up to having to have some kind of beginning, like starting over. It is September, so this could be like school, for example. So if those people that are in school to me is like kind of like starting over. You're going maybe to do a different career. You're going back to finish a degree or something like that. So it's like it's like the first day, like it almost feels like the first day of school type energy. We're kind of like afraid to like be the beginner. We're afraid to be the student, like that kind of thing. But we need to focus on the fear and push through that fear is basically what it's saying here. So that should be the priority this week is do not be afraid to be a beginner and do not be afraid to start and be a student again. So I love that message right there. We need to reflect on what exactly. Guardian Angel, you're not alone. Yay! Okay, so very interesting after getting that orphaned card. So reflecting on oh gosh, this means so many different things for this. This could mean reflecting on your loneliness, reflecting on why being alone, why maybe you like being alone, maybe why you are alone, or you've been alone, or why, like different things like that have to do with loneliness. I'll give an example for myself. So a lot of you guys know, maybe not if you're if you're just tuning in, I've been going through a chronic illness journey for a little over 4 years now. I have tremendously isolated, a lot of time in isolation for sure. Spiritually, I would call it a void, but I won't go there necessarily right now, but I kind of just pull back and withdraw. Many reasons for that, and this would be something to kind of like reflect on is, this would be the example for, reflection. Why do I isolate? Like, I don't tell people what I'm going through. I don't, I've pushed friends away. I can't exactly be there for people. So I feel, a part of me feels like I'm useless, all of these different things. And, why I push people away is because I feel like I can't get support from people. And I grew up that way where if I was going through something, nobody even cared, like that kind of thing. So there's a lot of reasons why I've isolated, in the last 4+ years. And so this is kind of saying like, why do you isolate? What happens when you isolate? Like you need to kind of think about like your alone time. Like this is just kind of like asking you to look at your alone time in some way, shape, or form and do kind of like shadow work around it. So it could be different things. This could also be like kind of like the opposite, like why don't you like being alone? Maybe you're having like, I know people that say to me like, I can't be alone. I can't just sit in my house like on a Friday night. I always have FOMO. I always need to be out. I always need to be around people. I can't just sit home and read a book or clean my house. Like I have to be out every single night. I have to be around people. That's another thing to reflect on, okay? So there's something here with, spending individual time with ourselves, isolating, spending time alone, that kind of thing. So you guys kind of decide what it is, you know, and you can go from there. But I definitely do feel like there's a lot of work to be done here. So definitely journal, journal, journal. All right, responsibilities. We have blessed. Okay, so your responsibilities this week is to feel gratitude, to feel blessed, to embody that feeling that always accompanies more abundance. So I love that. Not too much more I can say about that, but try to. I think we got a message maybe in the monthly as well. I think it was through the White Witch, or maybe that was the last week of August, but definitely asking us to be a little bit more positive. Remember, if we have to force positivity, it's, you know, it becomes toxic positivity because we're not exactly expressing how we feel. But this is saying, if you can, maybe throw in a gratitude journal, you know, try, you know, when you're journaling here, you know, throw in a gratitude list. That would definitely be very helpful. But, you know, stay as grateful as you can. Try to see that perspective, especially with that perspective shift that we actually need to have, you know. Be neutral about it. Like, yeah, maybe things suck right now, but what doesn't suck? You know what I mean? So look at it in both ways if you can. Money and finances and career, you know, I put them all together here. We have Liberator at the shadows, imposing your own tyranny over those who claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate traits. Okay, so Liberator is about liberating ourselves, feeling free. So the opposite of that, the shadow, would be how we don't feel free, how we reserve ourselves, right? And so there definitely does feel like there's this reserving of ourselves here in money and finances, so where we don't feel free. So, oh gosh, this could look so many different ways. Maybe you feel like you can't leave your job, right? This is career, money, and finances, so career is included. Maybe we feel like we can't leave our job. Maybe we feel like we're tied to something because of the money, right? And we don't feel free. You know, it feels like a prison sentence. Maybe you go in 9 to 5, every day's Groundhog Day. You know, you feel like you just can't leave. Same thing with money and finances. You feel like in some way, shape, or form, you feel really trapped. Guys, I'm sorry that I don't have anything more positive. You know, it's just talking about being more positive. You guys know I tell you the truth, but it definitely feels overwhelming. Right? It feels overwhelming where we feel like we're not free in some way, shape, or form when it comes to money and finances and career. And it just is, you know. I love that it comes next to the blessed card. So try to look at it in a more positive light. That could definitely be more helpful for you guys this week. But I definitely do feel, I feel your pain. Like literally I could feel pain through this card as I read intuitively, and I am a clairsentient. So I feel the pain, guys. I totally get it. But something tells me that there might be a breakthrough coming up soon. You know, there's always light at the end of the tunnel. The question is always when, you know, and how. But you don't necessarily have to be asking yourselves that this week. This is just really about like allowing yourself to process this. And like I said, piggybacking off of the blessed card, maybe try to see things a little bit more through a grateful lens to really help you with that really heavy feeling that you'll be feeling this week. But I definitely do feel like we feel trapped. Trapped is a good word. And you just don't feel free. And trust me, I get it. It just feels like there's like a ceiling and we can't break that ceiling, right? We feel like maybe there's nowhere else to go. Maybe you've hit a wall or a ceiling like at your job and you just feel like there's nowhere else to go. Like there's no more raises, there's no more promotions. Like there just feels like, you know, you don't necessarily feel like you have many options. And that's kind of, you know, part of the Liberator as well. So womp womp. Not loving that card, but you guys know I always tell you the truth. All right, surprise. What do we need to surprise? What do we get here? Snake, shed old skin. Okay, so surprise, we shed old skin. So this could be like our new self. We don't have quite yet. I know there's 5 more cards to pull. We don't have the new life card or anything kind of symbolizing like any endings or anything quite yet. Like I said, we have 5 cards left. But this is really about like showing your new self, like, shedding your old skin. It is under surprise. So I think it's going to kind of come out of nowhere. So I think basically what it's going to be is like, you might be in like a situation where your old self would react one way, but your new self reacted, you know, a different way, like, and then it surprised you, right? So something could be coming back around and you're just reacting to it differently as as a more mature person. I know we talked about I think it was last week's reading about becoming more mature, growing, evolving, that kind of thing. And this is something regarding that, saying you have evolved in some way, shape, or form. It's like a new you have shed a new skin, like you don't even recognize yourself with this, and it's a positive thing, right? It's not you do something out of character or something. You do something out of character in a positive way, if that makes sense, you do in a more positive way, that shows your growth, your evolution, that kind of thing. And I love that. So you may act a different way, you may show up a different way, your energy just might be different. And again, it's under surprise, so it feels like it comes out of nowhere. All right, we have friends, we have exchanging gifts. Okay, so this is about give and take. This doesn't necessarily, it could be literal, right? Where, you give a gift to a friend gives you a gift, literally exchanging gift. Or it could just be an even give and take, right? Is that you're making sure that you are, whatever you give, you get back. And you have friends that are on your level in that way, which I love, because we kind of talked about companion, about maybe, not showing up the way that maybe our friend or somebody else shows up for us, and we kind of change that and we balance it, right? We balance it out. Remember, the to be fair is we need to be balancing things in all areas of our life. So obviously friends and family could be in that category. So it definitely feels like there's balance here. There's you feel a mutual appreciation, but also you take care of them, they take care of you. You scratch my back, I scratch yours, that kind of thing. So I love that. So yeah, there definitely does feel like there's some kind of shift going on. And it's under issue, so we have issues with it, but it feels like it turns out okay, right? So I love that for sure. Okay, romantic connection, we have Destroyer in the Shadow. It's all these shadow cards here. Intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. Okay. This is about... God, I don't love this one either. Okay. You guys know I'm honest, though. This is about destroying something. And this is specifically talking about somebody else's potential. So it's under romantic connection. So this could be about you feeling like your partner is, honestly, it's similar to the Liberator in this way, where it feels like you're being stifled in some way, where you feel like your dreams are being, this is not great, but let's go with it. Your dreams are being stomped on. You feel like you're being stopped from your potential. You feel like there's a little bit of destruction going on here. So, I don't love this, but something's kind of going on in our romantic connections where we feel stifled from our partner, or our partner might feel stifled from us, where maybe they feel like you're holding them back. Or you might feel like your partner's holding you back, okay, from something. I don't feel it's malicious. I don't feel like it's on purpose. I don't feel like it's it's just kind of life in some way, shape, or form. So it definitely does feel or it could be our own limitations, right? I talked up there about codependency, enmeshment. Maybe we are feeling like we need to be doing these things, but it's really hurting our own potential. Maybe we feel like we have to be taking care of, it's different if people are sick and addictions and things like that. However, maybe we feel like we have to be living, codependency is part if they're not happy, I'm not happy. And it's kind of that could backfire in so many different ways, because your happiness is not dependent on their happiness. It doesn't make sense. It should be more independent, interdependent. So this could be you're just enmeshing yourself too much in their life, and you're not paying attention to yours and your own potential to do your own thing. So it could be something like that, right? And so Destroyer, we might be destroying our own dreams by this certain behavior within our romantic connections, right? So definitely look at ourselves as well. So it could be all those different things, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I don't love it. But it could be something that Spirit is asking us to look at so we can stop it in its tracks, so we can stop the behavior and move towards our potential. We've gotten a lot of cards about potential in the last few months, so this could be, Spirit could be pointing to this and saying, like, it's there, but your romantic connection is holding you back in some way, shape, or form. Whether you're doing it, whether your partner's doing it, whatever, right? So I would be so fascinated if you guys put it down below how that resonates with you, if you're brave enough, right? I know it takes a little bit of vulnerability to talk about your intimate relationships on the internet. So feel free to put it down below. If it's too personal, I totally get it. All right, what's important? Trader, exchange energy to create abundance. Yes, guys. Between the trader exchanging gifts and to be fair, this is about exchange. So it's about bartering. Okay, that's what the trader is really about. It's kind of like about bartering, and then that creates. And then the extra message here is like it creates abundance. So this is saying it's important that you exchange things, right? That what you give, you get. Okay, and like I said, it looks like in our friends and family we get it down, but again, maybe not here. Maybe our romantic connections, are a little, not necessarily following that, right? But what I said up here with the issue, right? It might be an issue, but it's important. Like, it just feels like we're working through it because we've gotten another card that says, remember, it's important, right, to do that. So I love that. Our relationships are balancing out is like a good way to put it, right? Amongst other things, because the to be fair is really general, right? But it definitely just feel like the things in our life are balancing out. So if you've been feeling like you've been an overgiver or even like an overtaker, okay? I feel like I've been an overtaker because just the situation that I'm in. I really can't give as much, right? And so hopefully this means it's balancing out. I would love to overgive. I would love it. I'm dying to do that. So maybe that has something to do with it, but we'll see. But it starts to even itself out, right? Health and wellness, we have TikTok. Okay, so this is about, not the app, this is about running out of time, feeling like we don't have enough time for something. It could also be impatience, right? And so the fact that it's under here, and whether you're going through a spiritual journey, a mental health journey, a physical journey like myself, it's saying like we feel like we might be running out of time. We might be feeling like we're running out of patience, or it could be the perfect time for something, okay? I know that's like a lot of different things, but again, this is for the collective. So if you feel like you've been waiting for the right time for something, this is validation, okay? Maybe you're on a weight loss journey and you've been working really hard for, many, many months, and now you feel like you're in the right place. You're in the ballpark of going shopping and buying all new clothes or something like that. Or maybe you feel like this is under health. Maybe, no shame in this, by the way. Maybe it's time that you feel like you've gotten you've lost 60 pounds and now it's time to get assistance from a GLP-1, right? And it feels like the right timing for something, right? Which I love here. But also too, the running out of, patience. Maybe, you might feel like you're almost there and you're running, you're starting to like run out of patience, or you feel like you're running out of time in some way, shape, or form. Like you have a deadline you're not meeting. It's all false, right? Is the best way you can kind of say it. Don't let it, maybe that's not the right way to say it. Don't let it get to you, is what I'm trying to say, because you are almost there. Okay, so don't let the ticking of the clock make you cuckoo. All right, you're almost there for sure. I like that in that spot, to be honest. Okay, overall outcome, what are we ending with? Okay, something in the positive here, in the light. Priest facilitates spiritual commitment, serves the channel of spiritual energy. Okay, love that. Be the channel for spiritual energy. So basically it's saying like, you definitely might feel more connected this month, which is interesting because we have the challenge with connecting to our intuition, but maybe, I'm sorry, not this month, this week. Maybe by the end of the week, you start to, whatever's kind of been blocking you, kind of figured it out, and now you just feel like you're more connected in some way, shape, or form. Or you worked harder because you feel like you've been blocked, and now you feel like really spiritually recharged and connected. Or it could have something going back to this beginning one about connecting with our ancestors in some way, shape, or form. We feel more connected in that way. We feel more grounded. We feel more embodied, that kind of thing. So it just means that we just are more connected by the end of the week, for sure. And I love that. There's not really too much more I can say about that. But yeah. Okay. So it looks like a good week. Like I said, we have a couple of things I don't love. Liberator, I would say, is a little bit of a red flag. The Destroyer and the Shadow, a little bit of a red flag. Other than that, I like everything. Don't let them... I know it's like, and you know what? It's in like 2 big areas of life, right? Career, money, finances, and romantic connection. So might be a little rough this week. I'm not gonna lie, guys, but it's all stuff to move us forward and move us forward, help us evolve, help us grow, that kind of thing. So I believe in you guys. I know you guys can get through it. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much for staying to the end of the reading. I hope you guys have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.